Is this your office you're in?
Yes, my home office. Yes, sir. I like
love
your
it.
background
Yeah,
as
you
well.
open up each episode in here talking about.
That's right. That's right.
I'm always curious because you have a really cool Robotech collection in the background.
I'm biased, but I tend to think so.
Yeah, very cool. Have you ever thought about doing that? I know it's not a very popular series from like your old show, The Toys That Made Us, like the Robotech ones, or was like.
I would love to, but are we starting, by the way?
Yeah, we can start.
Okay, great. I would love to, but it's not a cheap show to make.
Yeah.
So the audience for an episode has to be big enough.
That's the problem
to
with this
justify
series.
the cost. And I would watch an episode about Robotech. Seems like you would as well, but I don't know if there's enough people that would.
Problem. I don't know if this live action movie is ever going to get made, So
exactly.
Anyway, it's a pleasure to see you again. We spoke at last San Diego Comic-Con, so now you have a new amazing project, which I've seen the first 2 episodes for, the Toy Store Near You.
Oh, great!
This is amazing because this had to put together very quickly. When the pandemic started, talk about the very beginning when you started, the wheels started rolling with this, and how did you find all the different toy stores?
So I was having a conversation with the owner of one of the toy stores near my office, Kyle at Black Cat Comics, and we were just talking theoretically what would happen if there was a quarantine, and I just said to him, like, what would happen? And he was like, well, 80% of my income would go away, but my costs would stay the same. And I was like, oh my God, okay, wow. So about 2 weeks later, the quarantine happened, and I was like, how can we make money for the stores and also give them a lot of awareness so they can make money and maybe not day to day now replace the lost revenue, but eventually have the money coming in to replace what they lost maybe a couple weeks earlier, months earlier. And that really was the inspiration by the most random of events ever. That night, or some night early on, for the first and only time ever, my wife was watching this show about some Japanese noodle maker on our TV in our bedroom that he had shot on his phone. And I've literally 11, 12 years together with my wife, never seen her watch this thing. It's been 2 months, 3 months since. Haven't seen her do it again. But I just remember looking at it being like, I own a production company. I own a distribution company. If the stores are willing to shoot the footage, we could make a TV show.
Yeah.
Billy Galaxy, who I've known for about 4 years, and I told him basically what I just told you. And I was like, would you do it? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. So then, when season 3 of Toys That Made Us premiered, we had done a nationwide premiere at about 30 toy stores all across the nation.
Ooh.
So we put out a press release that Deadline Hollywood picked up, and then we sent that article to those 30 toy stores, and then we sent it to everybody we know, like Den of Geek picked it up, whatever. And then I think we had about 37 stores join in less than a week, and then we hit 50, within 2 weeks.
So did you basically coach them up over Zoom, what to talk about and stuff? Because you very humanize not just the store owners, but the customers and the community around it. It's really amazing.
Yeah. So I left that part out. Sorry. So we gave Billy 10 things he had to shoot, like close-ups of the exterior, wide shot of the exterior, go around the store, film all the shelves. And then we gave him about 10 questions. That original concept that I had was only about the toy store and then a little bit about Billy. When I saw the first rough cut, I knew it wasn't good because I had screwed up because there was no human story to the episode. So I
Ah,
called him up and I'm like, don't kill me, and I asked him to film his employees and his customers. And then I asked him to film what I like to call like a Santa Claus ending. That's like what you saw with both episodes, where there's like a happy ending with a customer.
yeah.
So that was the second round, maybe the even third round of notes. And Billy, God bless him, went back every time. 1313, they also had to do a bunch of reshoots and pickups,
Hmm.
and so did episode 3. But by the time we got to like episodes 6 and 7, which I have not even seen rough cuts on. We're only up to episode 5 for rough cuts. By the time we got to episode 6 and 7, we were sending the right questions from day one.
Very cool. It's pretty amazing. The first two people you have, they're both former musicians, which is like another one of my passions. So Billy was in some punk band, I believe, and then Terry was in some Hammerlord, which is a band that sings about wrestling. Why am I just finding out about this? A thrash metal band has a song called Tombstone about Undertaker. I think another one was Macho Man, Cream of the Cop.
Well, I'll give you a spoiler. They're not the only two that are former musicians.
Oh wow, very cool. So very nice. So I thought it was interesting, especially Terry and his wife's. They're both nurses too. On top of this pandemic, dealing with that, and running a very small toy shop.
What
Did
are
you
the
know
odds?
that they were nurses on top of that, or no?
No,
So it's
absolutely
crazy.
not. No clue. In
Yeah.
fact, I believe they were one of the stores, and God, if I'm wrong, guys, I'm sorry. But I believe they were one of the stores that they were not a part of the original launch of the series. So they were like a new relationship for us.
Hmm.
My God, guys, because I know Terry watches all of these. I hope I'm not wrong about that. And I'm sorry if I am. But so yeah, so the store just sort of opened compared to a lot of the other stores that we cover.
Hmm.
So yeah, I did not know that. My producing partner, Rich Myrick, he may have known, but I did not know.
It's amazing. So you got a bunch throughout the USA. I think you got one in Canada and one in Japan coming up
2
too.
in Japan,
Oh wow.
2 in Canada, 1 in England, 1 in Mexico, 1 in the Netherlands, and I still feel like I'm forgetting a country.
Well, that's amazing because it is a worldwide pandemic. So there's toy
Yes,
shops all around the world, that are suffering through this. So.
yes, exactly. That's what we were trying to do.
Hmm. I love how they showcased their favorite toys, and it was kind of very hard for I think Billy with the Flash Gordon because it's probably one of his favorite collection pieces, but times are tough. You got to sell some things.
Yeah, well, I mean, the funny thing about that, man, is like over there,
Yeah.
I have the Takara gun that would become Megatron that you
Oh,
saw in Billy's episode. And over there,
yeah.
behind the computer, I got the Mosquitor that you saw in 1313. So,
So
and
cool.
I'm always like, I hope this is not like insider trading that I'm like sitting there watching rough cuts being like, do you still have that? Can I buy that? So yeah, I'm also a customer.
Well, yeah, I think, and that's what it is. You're helping these toy shops because I saw some things there. I'm like, I might have to go to their website and see if I can get. So, and it's amazing because I just moved recently, and I was like, I don't know if I can take all my toy collections with me. I actually donated some of my toys to my friend David at Toyzilla in the Pasadena. I think you were at the old location for one of the premieres, and because he's same thing, rough times. He just moved to a new place, and now he can't sell, and it's so amazing seeing the community around him. Everyone's doing these Facebook Live stuff now, and we're all supporting each other.
It's funny, I was doing an interview last week and the guy was like, yeah, I watched your first episode. It took me about 45 minutes. And I'm like, I didn't say this to him, but in my heart, I'm like, what a jerk. Like, if you didn't like the show, why are you interviewing me? Like, that's the worst thing you can tell me. That's a 22-minute show was 45 minutes. But then I'm glad I didn't say anything because I kept pausing it, looking at the shelves and going to eBay and buying stuff. And I'm
Wow.
like, I'm glad I didn't say anything because that's actually a huge compliment. But yeah, that's my hope. And eBay is one of the sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did they put money into the show, but they're also, I'm not an expert on this stuff, but they're also doing a bunch of stuff to make it like easier for the stores to like get exposure and make money. So eBay has been amazing, an amazing partner to the show and an amazing partner to the stores.
What other companies have you worked with? I think Super 7 was another one besides eBay.
Yeah. Super 7's been great. Brian's been amazing. Death Wish Coffee, which they make like the most caffeine crazy coffee that's like legally okay to sell. And then every now and then they do a podcast about geek stuff. So we've been working with them forever. They're one of the first people we ever did like anything with season 1 of Toys That Made Us. Nice. And then Tribeca Film Festival is also a sponsor. And I know this might sound all random, but to you it is, and I respect that. But to me, like, these are all companies we're in business with already. And I was like, could you support the show? And they were like, sure. So that's why we got a coffee company, a New York Film Festival. So
without these companies, projects like this wouldn't get off the ground. So that's why I want to give a shout out to them.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So the first episode's out. I think the 1313 Mockery Lane one comes out next week, and then is it?
No, late June, like or the early 20s.
So how often do you have like a set date for each one, or is it kind of just up in the air right now?
So I made the decision to prioritize speed of release over a traditional logical release pattern. For better or worse, we'll see how smart or stupid this was in a couple months. But ideally, we're going to put an episode out every 3 weeks. I don't know if we're going to accomplish that. Like the 4th episode is Spiral Toys, which is the first Japanese store we're doing. Mm-hmm. I did not calculate the time it took to do subtitles. So,
Yeah, they are a pain.
What's that?
They are a pain. I've done that before for one of my projects.
Well, they're a pain in English. In Japanese, holy moly. So, like we're doing a series right now for Disney Plus, for example, that hopefully is going to come out in Q4 of this year.
Oh, cool.
We started working on that in May of 2019. So the fact that we went from green light to air in 58 days, that's the good news. The bad news, we might be putting these episodes out till like 2049.
Well, you're putting them out. That's all that matters. And I don't think audience like me are going to care if it's like a day late or a week late. We just want to see this and support the toy community. Speaking of that, a lot of these comic shops, toy shops have been hit by another, besides the pandemic, looting on top of all this. Is there a way you want to do a second series to help support those shops? Or I used to live in Los Angeles area, and Golden Apple got broken into. I think the one stop in Santa Monica and Long Beach. The list goes on. So,
well, if there's a silver lining to our bonkers release pattern, this would be it. So we're able to incorporate that into future episodes. So, Farpoint Toys, which in theory is going to be episode 5, they had I don't know if you heard about this or not, but in the middle of COVID and in the middle of the protests, a tree fell over, and for lack of a better expression, and I don't know, I feel like this is a pretty accurate way of describing it, the power lines hit the store and basically electrocuted the store. All the wires and pipes in the walls got electrocuted. It's a husband-wife that owns the store. The husband almost got electrocuted himself. The store, it didn't catch on fire, but it was full of smoke, which obviously not the best thing when you're selling toys.
Oh, no.
So we hope and we think that'll be a part of their episode, which, like I said, might not have been if that episode had locked already.
All right. Damn.
But at least 2 of the stores we're doing, the owners were in their stores protecting them last week during the looting.
Oh, that's good. So Is there a way we can stay up to date? Is there a website, social media wise? Because your release dates might be changing. The stories are always going to be changing with these stores, and
I always say follow us on Instagram or Facebook, Toys That Made Us. That's what we're using for everything.
Okay.
And we, basically also once we are done with an episode, we have to send it to Amazon and YouTube and everywhere. Then we got to wait for them to say it's cool. So once we know it's cool, then we will tell the public the release date. But I know right now what the 13/13 release date is, but I'm not going to say it until I've heard from Amazon and everywhere else that they agree with me that that's the release date.
All right, well, keep up the amazing work, and hopefully I'll see you again at San Diego Comic-Con, whenever that is.
God willing, man, and thank you for your support.